I'm going to use these for supports to make my plywood roof stronger. So there will be insulation that sits in here. You're looking at my ceiling right now, turned upside down. So this bottom is what will be the roof, and this part here is what will be the ceiling on the inside. It won't be visible. This is just adding strength and support. It's steel, and it used to be the trim that held the roof to the wall, but I'm going to use it as strength across the 8-foot span, or 7-foot 7-inch span, and it's not aluminum, it's steel. So there's just a little demonstration of what I'm going to do. Okay, everybody, so we're on the roof, or we're standing on the loft, and we're going to put in the first piece of roof, or at least that's what we're going to start working on now. So this is that rubber roof stuff. I've got more of it that I'm going to put a new fresh coat on once I'm done with everything. But it's looking great, I think. This is where our first piece of plywood will fit. It'll come out to here or something. Not here, it'll come past that. So all the stud work there will be under the first piece of roof, which would be nice, and that'll enclose our bedroom. So that's kind of a turning point for us having the first piece of roof in. You can see the door is still clamped. We won't be able to install the actual door. That's just the door jamb. We'll be able to install the door at 5 in the morning or any time after that tomorrow morning. So basically 15 hours or 16 hours from now. And you can see I got the tarp pulled back. You've seen the pictures, I think, with the tarp covering the whole camper, and right now I got it peeled back because we're going to work on this piece of plywood. So more about that in a minute. Okay, so here's the first piece of plywood roofing. Yay! How exciting is that? So this is over our loft, and I can't show you all the joints maybe, but they're perfect, at least as far as I'm concerned. I've got this beveled right here. This is angled. This piece of plywood is beveled at the angle that it was at before. I just put it back in, and you can see, if you look like maybe from this direction, it's almost perfectly flush with my aluminum. How cool is that? So I'll put that in, and then the roof will come over that and fold over this, and then screws will go in, and then trim will go over that. So that's like, I don't know, I feel like our project at this point might be a success. If the rest of the roof goes on like this, then at least we'll have a plywood foam box to live in, right? Anyway, and this is how it looks from the inside. This is just a dry fit, so it'll be kills. I'm gonna put primer on the underside too, and do 2 coats on the entire thing. And I just wanted to show. Alright, y'all, so here's the back of the trailer, and we just put in this last top plate here, and that runs to the back. That one's been in. That was the first one I put in, but basically that's going to hold our plywood, and then you'll see what else I'm going to do to the plywood to make it strong. But yeah, we got 2 sheets out here now, both cut with beveled edges to receive the aluminum up here at the right angle to make up for that angle. So it's cut at an angle, and 2 more pieces are going to go here, so 8 feet of roof. It'll come out to like here where I'm standing about. We need another top plate on there, so I might even have it made. I gotta look and see if I've made that already. But we're making our sweet way across the roof. All the stud work is done, so this will be our 3rd sheet of plywood in for the roof, and there's only like 5 total. 5.5, so we're getting there. Thanks. Okay, here I am screwing in the first piece of plywood for the roof. And it's nighttime, so it's dark, but yeah, I do. We're putting in the roof. Pretty groovy. Alright, the tarp is off. And we may put a small tarp back on at some point, but what I'm working on, you can see over there, 2 more sheets of plywood roof that are going to go on real soon. Cute. This is a fawn and her mother. Deer live in the same place, like a family of deer will stay in the same place pretty much for their whole life. So they may move, like if there's a reason to move. I don't want to, like, I'm no expert or anything. I just know that deer, it's common for them, groups of deer, to stay in one place for a long time. And so with that, these deer, I remember when this fawn was born, just a baby, and he's actually pretty big now. And this is I'll just walk them to him a little bit. They're like so used to us, I'd be surprised if they even get spooked. But we're lucky to have this beauty so close, for sure. There's 2 bucks too. Sometimes in the evening there's like 7 or 8 deer all out here at once. But anyway. Hey guy. Yeah, I'm disturbing him. Alright, you guys have a good day. Alright, so I just cut a long rip at this angle. And that's a piece of my roof. That is that little spot. This piece in the loft is already in. If you look right here, I guess. No, that's actually not right. Let's see. If you look in this window, sorry, you can see one piece of roof is in. And I just cut that piece and the piece that goes there. And I still have to cut this piece. So there's 2 pieces in the back as well. This one is situated where it's always going to be, I think, and this one is not quite yet. So what that means, there's only about that much more space. So what that means is these 2 pieces are the 2 that I just talked about on either side of that little elevation change, and this piece is the one that goes in between, well, it's, you know, the 2 that are in there. That's what's left. So we're gonna get a considerable portion of our roof put on tonight. And there's those cute deer again. They were just too scared to finish the walk from right here. They were right here, and they have to hop over sometimes if they're too scared, and then they'll walk back behind the bushes. But basically they just wanted to get to the park to graze. Pretty cute. Check this out. Kinda sad, but that's life. Watch me get stung. I don't know if our cats caught this chipmunk and then the bees are just finishing it off or what, but that's a chipmunk and it's making bees where I'm trying to cut. Piece put in. Here's the seam, and I just cut that piece. And I just also cut the piece that goes up to this point here. So I've got that. I'm going to take this off one more time and finish the kills. paint job, primer job, and then I will bring both boards up here and get back to work. Okay, we just got another piece of roof in. It's nighttime. It's super windy. There goes one of our lights, on and off. Funny. I don't know why it's doing that, but in any case, we got another piece of roof in, and it's not permanent. I'm not screwing them in except for this one until they're all sitting there with each other, because I want to do all the seams and stuff together. But anyway, I'm gonna go get another piece now, and I've got 3 pieces in. One full-size piece there, partial-size piece here, and then another full-size piece, or basically full-size, and then we still got that piece to put in. But it's going good. Alright, so, well, I broke another bit, so I had to get creative so I don't have to run to the store. But, so I've got, you can see I drew my lines. That's what I was going to show you. I just basically looked at where I had a stud. You can see there's a stud there, and I know that that's 1.5 inches off my side, so I draw this line at 1.5 inches, and then I can make a straight line at 1.5 inches from my next stud, right? Because according to my design, this part here is foam, and this part here is the wood. So if I screwed into here, I would only be getting foam. So that's why I drew this line, and you can see that'll be on my whole roof, and that's how I know where to put my screws. And another thing, roofing nails, I recommend double up on screws and nails, because they have different purposes. Nails do shear, and screws do tension. So that means nails, I'll just put it this way, screws are really strong when it comes to, you screw it in, and then if you try and pull it out, if you try and yank it out upwards with a hammer, it's really strong. That's called tension. But where this is weak is shear. If I put pressure where my pinky and first finger are, and then I put pressure with my thumb, I could probably break it with one hand. It's really weak. A nail is the opposite. It comes up really easily. Okay, so it has poor tension, but it's got great shear. There's no way I could break a nail in half with one hand. So if you don't know where your application is going to get pressure over the years, then double up. Use nails and screws. And if you know that you're just going to have tension to worry about, then use screws. And if you're just going to have shear pressure, or to worry about, then you just need nails. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nail in between these screws, just because it's thorough, basically just to be thorough. So we finally got the roof on. We've siliconed in between these cracks, and you saw the underside. So these are what our cracks look like. This will be flush when I finish the aluminum flashing on the underneath side. Yeah, they all fit really snug together. It was really a good fit, and I'm super happy with it. So we got a roof. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm up on the roof, getting the new pieces in, plywood pieces in, and just showing what I was doing. I drew out my stud here. This is my stud, and this is my 1x4 top plate. You can see it right here. See that? So what I'm doing is I'm screwing in my plywood to my top plate and to my stud everywhere that there's a stud, like right here. Alright, so the last bit of top plate is in there. I'm going to add a little bit more hardware to a couple of them. You can see there's a couple holes there that aren't filled yet, but got the top plates in, so here's the last section of roof. It's going to go in right now. Yeah, the same few.
Right on.
Alright, now we're on top. Here's the roof. You can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Obviously, they're not full size. I think 2 of them, no, 3 of them are full size sheets, and then there's 4 custom fit sheets to fit where they needed to fit. But you can see it's going to be a nice fit for my aluminum. The other aluminum, the roof, will just come sit here and it'll come over that. And you can see this just pushes in and gets nice and tight. If you look here, up close, sorry, it's nice and tight. And basically if you look all the way down, like that. Sorry about the camera work, but there it is. That's like the seam. And then you can look down this way. And those ones are already screwed in. Those are already screwed in. So, that's that. And then we've got silicone in the cracks in between each piece of plywood. Tried to get the seams as tight as I could, but they aren't perfectly tight everywhere. So there's silicone, and then of course the aluminum roof will still go over this. Alright, so there it is in place. Looks good, fits good. It's going to be a nice tight fit. And then we will do all the seams like this. I don't think I've shown this yet. But this is some flashing that was bent to an angle that was almost exactly the angle I needed. It wasn't perfect, but I thought I might be able to use screws to hold it down to the size I needed until my glue dried, and I was right. So I just used these cool screws. These are 3/8 self-tapping screws. They're pretty awesome. They did a really good job. So anyway, there's the construction adhesive that I've been using the whole time under there, and tons of little screws. So there's that. That's how we did the little curve, and then this one here is just flat, and that's how the rest will be. That's how the 1, 2, 3 more seams will look like this one. So that's how we did that.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got this 7-inch flashing, right, and I'm just showing how I did that. You've already seen that side, but babe, why don't you pan over there so they know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to show the process I used for getting that stuff on. It's a 7-inch flashing, aluminum flashing. So basically I'm just going to split my difference at 3.5 inches, right? And then I can hold my tape here, and then I can mark, oops, there we go. And then I can just mark 7 inches. It's right about there. And 0 inches. And that'll make my paneling, or my flashing, line up evenly. And I'll do 3 of those, I guess. And then we glue it. Okay, so you can see what we've done so far. There's glue under here. I'm about to do that. Let's continue the process. I didn't glue the whole thing at once because it can be really messy, but you could, especially if you had someone to help you hold it. So basically I'll just glue like this. And you don't need to watch this whole thing, but once I glue it in, we'll stick it up, and then we'll hold it down every few inches and screw in 4 screws about every 2 inches. So that's how we're doing it. Okay, so now peel that whole thing down right there. Good. Yeah, so there you go. That's the amount of glue that we're using. Alright, now let's stick it back up. And you can see we've got lines drawn to show exactly where we're supposed to be. You can see we're looking good in between our lines. So that makes it a lot easier. And then basically we'll just go in. If I can get a shot of this with the camera, sorry. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. And then you want to just squeeze that, make sure it's tight. And I like to start on the inside because that's the closest to the seam. And these are self-tapping screws, as you can see. So that's it. And then I'll do another one here, and then here, and you know, so. Okay, I just wanted to make one last comment about this process. It's about screws. You need, as I've said, self-tapping screws, but you also want metal screws, not wood screws, okay? See how this spot right here, it's flat, it doesn't have like a cone shape. Wood screws have a cone shape, and they wedge into whatever wood you're doing, and that's good for wood, but with metal like this, you don't want it to go in and wedge, and we don't want it also to poke further through than a 1/2 inch, because we have 1/2 inch plywood for a roof. So we have 3/8 inch long self-tapping metal screws, and when you have a lot of those, especially with the construction adhesive, the strength that this is providing is really overkill. But that's alright. And then Mandy is silicone caulking the cracks like this in the top. So once we get this metal flashing screwed in and glued from the bottom, we go up and silicone the top, and then I'm actually going to put Eternabond QuickRoof tape, which is a 6-inch wide tape, almost as wide as this flashing, and it is basically tar on one side and aluminum on the other side, and it makes a really good seal. So there will be silicone, and then that, and then we're also going to do an extra layer of Kills primer to prevent water damage on top, and then of course the aluminum roof will go on top of that. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I just quickly wanted to show the tape that I mentioned. This is QuickRoof brand. I've mentioned it several times. I'm going to use that on pretty much every seam, including this seam along here. Once I get the aluminum put back on the roof, it'll get screwed and then it'll have this tape over it and then it'll have trim. So that's the process. We just ran out of tape. Basically that's what we got. So we'll get more of that. It's like 20 bucks for 25 feet. And we'll do the rest of the roof. Alright. It's nighttime now. And everybody's in bed. But, let's see, it's Monday night. Like around 1:30 maybe. But it's supposed to rain and thunderstorm for the next 5 days. So getting the roof dried in is going to be really important. So I'm just doing the rest of what needs to be done. This is the last piece of flashing that needs to go in. All the rest is done. It's a little dark in here, but we'll have all the flashing done tonight, and once I'm done in here, I'm going to go up top, finish the silicone, finish the QuickRoof tape, and finish another coat, the last coat of Kills primer, and then fashion a few tarps for the windows and call it a night. It's supposed to rain at 5 in the morning, so we'll see about that. See ya. Alright, so here's the recommended roof silicone caulk, and it's not recommended by me. I don't know how it's gonna work because I'm just putting it on right now, but I paid extra for it because the guy who supposedly knew said that it was the best. Basically, it's the best I can buy. So that's the brand, and here's the bead. Basically, as you can see, I've just got my headlamp for light, but I've put a bead on there, pretty healthy bead covering the crack, and actually I also did it from underneath, so it was nice because when I was applying this crack I could see silicone in the crack coming up from underneath. So what goes on now is my tape. And you can see we're just about done. It's too dark really to tell what's going on, but those lines are tape. And I'm about to put the last piece on right now. And we'll be in business, ready for this rainstorm. Alright, it is now 5 in the morning, and I'm taking my little heat gun here to all of my seams. It's dark out, and this is the last little bit of video, but all the seams now have heat applied, and then they're rubbed in super well, so I don't think we'll have any more hassle with leaks in the roof. So I'm tired, I'm going to bed, and if you found this series or any of my videos or our videos useful, please go ahead and subscribe and like or whatever, thumbs up so more people can see it, and thanks a lot.